Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you getting into my weekly check-in. As you can see, I have a lot of spending and we have a lot to go through. So why don't we go ahead and get our notebooks, our tablets, whatever it is, our apps that we use to do our budgeting, and let's go ahead and get into the budget. Okay, so budgeting weekly check-ins, they're very important to me and I love doing them, and sometimes I don't love doing them based on my behavior and my spending. So I have a lot going on this month. I thought I increased enough for my budget, but I'm not sure. So we will have to see how the breakdown turns out. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am so happy that you're here, and I hope the content blesses you in some way and you can learn from what I'm doing to improve your own budget. So what I am doing is I'm budgeting for 4 adults for the month of June. There are 4 adults in our household. My husband, myself, my 2 adult sons, and we commingle all our money together, and I do the budgeting and plan out how the spending goes. So I do all the grocery shopping, ordering online, all those things, and then as they need things, they just let me know and I kind of help take care of that. And yeah, we have had a lot we're spending, and when I started on the 30th of last month because it made more sense than starting on the 1st, even though typically I budget all the money on the 1st of the month. One of my husband's paychecks came on that Thursday, and then 2 of my husband's paychecks came on that Friday. These are, this is a salary check, and then these were his government checks, and then our son pays rent on the 1st. So we have a lot of income that comes in the beginning of the month, and pretty much all the spending money I need for the month is in the beginning of the month. So I have the cash for everything I've spent, even though I can go over during the week, but I do have to track it to make sure I don't go too far over when I do go over every week, which is what you're going to see a lot of red. I think next month I'm going to change my budget again a little bit. When my husband got a new job in February, I went from a 3 paycheck budget month to a 2 paycheck budget month. And now I'm thinking, since I have all the cash at the beginning of the month, instead of budgeting per week a certain amount, just start with what the total is for that entire month and reduce it and keep dividing it by how many weeks are left to make sure I'm still within target. I've seen other budgeting channels do that, and since we have the money at the beginning of the month, I think it's a good idea to kind of think that out that way, especially this month when I go over every week. It just doesn't look good. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the specific spending that we've done, and I'm going to share with you exactly what we spent and where it came from and go from there. I did want to show you the weekly check-in. I did go ahead and plan out per week. I only planned out 4 weeks here. Sometimes I do 5 weeks. It just depends with the last few days of the month how the paychecks fall. And from what I'm seeing, I think I'm only going to do 4, but who knows? We'll have to wait till the end of the month. And I budgeted myself $400 for this week, $100 for a grocery household. Restaurants are $150, miscellaneous was $75, gas was $50, copay was $25, and 0 from budgeted. I never budget for it. I just know I can take it out of the buffer of the checking account. Now this month, the buffer of the checking account is pretty low, and I'm forcing myself to do this. So let me see if I can find my buffer budget. Let's see, for my monthly. It does not show it on, $4.89. I wrote the buffer right here. So yeah, that's pretty low. I think right now with the adjustments with the water and the electricity, that bumped up to $22. So that's good, but I don't really have a lot to work with in my checking account. So I'm going to have to not do any unbudgeted. I'm just going to have to pay out of savings if I do. And when I know I'm paying out of savings, it kind of hurts a little bit. It just definitely feels different when I do that. All right, so let's go over what we have. I have my note here where I write everything down. I did use a larger piece. Last week I folded it in half, but we had so many transactions this week. And then I wanted to kind of get used to this monthly idea. I went ahead and used a full sheet of paper, which is fine, and I will work with that. So first thing we have is this $14.62. I ran into the grocery store. These were specific items that I needed to fix an Asian dish on things I don't typically have in my pantry. I got like sesame oil and some green onions and sesame seeds and stuff like that. Just little things that the recipe called soy sauce and stuff. I don't keep a lot of that in the house because I don't fix it often, but I had ran out and I wanted to go ahead and fix that. So I did run in the store and get a few items there. The next thing I have is over here, Amazon for $19.07. And that is a very good question. What did I get at Amazon? Okay, so for the $19.07, this was a household item. There was a shower caddy I once had that suction cup to the tile in the bathroom in our shower, and it got knocked down and I couldn't get it to stick again, so I bought another one, and that was $19.07. Hopefully I don't have to buy another one again, but that's what I have there. And then I did a grocery run for $121.73. Now this was a grocery pickup here, and this one had things like I needed glass top stovetop cleaner, and I needed like so for this grocery run, I bought some household stuff, this wasp spray for around the house. We have wasps trying to build nests and stuff, and I'm trying to keep them away from the house. Stovetop glass cleaner, and then some regular groceries, the usual milk and meat and eggs and pantry items and stuff like that. So that's what that grocery run was for. And then the next grocery run, I actually went in the store, and that was for, let's see what items I got there. Oh, I had, it's so cute. I went to the store and I have 2 adult sons with autism, but it's Father's Day, and I was like, okay, you guys need to pick out some Father's Day cards. So I left them in the card aisle to go through all the greeting cards and stuff like that to pick out their favorite Father's Day cards. And then I went ahead and did some shopping as well. And somehow I was only intended to buy 3. I ended up buying 4 cards. So that was kind of interesting. And then I also got some wrapping paper because my son's birthday is tomorrow and I had to wrap his Legos up. And then there was some pricey stuff from the drugstore section of the grocery store. I went ahead and got, it's usually called Abreva, but I got the brand name from the store for a cold sore my husband needed, and things like that. And then some other cooking stuff and some extra chicken and things I forgot from the first grocery run. So there was a lot of individual stuff that we got, and I got extras so I could have things when my father-in-law came into town, because I picked him up on Thursday and I'm going to take him home on Friday or on Monday. So today is Saturday, so we have everything already filled out. Over here we have 2 more Amazon purchases, $16.94. And I'm trying to think what those are. I do know the $24.76 is the liquid IV. I got the sugar-free version, white peach. I love the white peach. It is so good. And with my diabetes, it helps to have a sugar-free version. The $16.94 is filters for my Frigidaire filter. For the air filters, I guess. That's what they are. I'll show you a picture. I usually have my apps open when I'm talking about it, but yeah, this is what I got, and that was 2 of them, and that was $16.94. And then what else did I get? Let's see. Oh, and then my husband ordered some grinder coffee. So grinder is this flavored coffee pouches that you can put like in the lip of your mouth or something. I don't know. And he kind of sucks on them when he can't get like a cup of coffee or something like that. So he uses these pouches to have caffeine to keep him going through the day while he's at work. 3216. That usually lasts about 6 months or so. So that's quite a bit. But he gets a variety of flavors, and it's his thing. I have no idea. Don't know anything about it. So then I went again. This is the coupon purchases. I didn't need any of these, but we will use and consume these. And I went ahead and used the coupons, and then maybe a couple extra items for like lunches and snacks with my father-in-law here. So that was $142.86. There we go. And that is my grocery for the week. I'm going to go ahead and get my calculator here. I'm going to total up how much we spent and go from there. All right, so I have $493.67. I want to check my notes and make sure I did my math right, but I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, I finally found my notes, and yes, it was $493.67 is what I spent in grocery household. So now we're moving on to restaurants, and I don't know if you've caught like my monthly budget or my paycheck budget, or what budget I actually mentioned this in. But when I closed out my spending tracker for the month of May, I inadvertently did not include a tip that was part of a purchase that my husband made at a restaurant, at a restaurant that he went to, or was it part of something we went to? I don't know. There was a $3.50 discrepancy. It was a tip, at Trackside here, and so it was still part of restaurants. It should have been on last month's budget, but it didn't, so I just carried it over to June, and I'm tracking it here and then paying the credit card. I just was off by $3.50, so I am doing that this month and pay in the first weekly check-in. So that's why that is there. And then Hall's Vending is where my husband gets food or something to eat while he's at work when he actually goes to the office. Most of his days of the week, he's either out in the field going to different sites, and he either takes his lunch on the road and parks somewhere and eats, or he goes and stops at a restaurant. Well, when he's actually at his desk in his office, which is maybe once every other week or so, he'll stop in and get something to eat in the little cafe downstairs in their building, and that's called Hall's Vending. So, which is kind of cool because I actually get an email from them when he eats, and I know right away, and he doesn't have to worry about a receipt. So the next thing we have is Old Chicago, and this was kind of weird. This is $44.25. That was how much our 2 drinks and pizza was, and we got a large pizza, so my husband had extra to eat off of for the rest of the weekend, and they didn't include the tip. They didn't give themselves their tip that we had with them. So I had to go back and change it. Usually when that happens, I don't go back to the restaurant and correct it unless I really feel necessary. But we love to give and we love to tip, and that's part of our giving ministry. So I don't know what to do, but just for accuracy's sake for the budget, I'm just putting down what they charged, and then my husband and I will talk about later if we want to do any changes. But that Old Chicago, we went out to dinner. We hadn't been in a few weeks, so my husband was really wanting that, and our boys ordered Papa John's, $37.04. And then we had, what's next? They're out of order a little bit, so I have to kind of look. All right, so over here is the Chick-fil-A. This is when I picked up my father-in-law and I got everybody something to eat that night because I had been busy that day. I didn't feel like cooking, so I ran and got Chick-fil-A for everybody. It was $51.74 for 5 people. And then my sons ordered pizza again this week, $38.10. Normally I would not have 2 pizzas, but because I included the previous 2 days before the first, That's why everything is so over budget from what I planned for the week. So that's why I'm thinking about changing things up going forward, because those few extra days at the end of every month, after the first of the month, as I'm doing my budgeting, sometimes it makes sense to have it in the next month, and sometimes it makes sense to have it in the previous month. And this system of how I've been doing weekly check-ins and how much money I budget for every week is not working. So I might have to change it and make it a little bit easier on myself. The next thing I have is, let's see, 3810. I forgot to check that off. And then 7360. So last night, my husband and I and my father-in-law went to Lexington to see my father-in-law's sister and her husband, and we went out to a restaurant called Thoroughbred. It's one of their favorite places to go, and we had dinner, and it was just a lot of fun and spent time together, and really enjoyed that. So it was a great family time and for everybody, so we really liked that. So I'm going to total up these numbers, and I'll be right back. All right, so we have $256.98 is how much we've spent. Hopefully there's not been a glare on everything. I have not been looking. 2, 5, 6, 9, 8. All right, there we go. And now we're moving on to miscellaneous. Now I'm not sure if one of these items I should have took out of gifts, birthday, Christmas kind of thing, money, but I went ahead and used miscellaneous. I've been doing really good with miscellaneous throughout the month, so if I keep an eye on it by the end of the month, I think I'll be okay. Let's see where we're at. Amazon, $13.77 here. There we go. Not even sure what we got. Okay, I remember what we got. So we are having a problem with wasps in our area, and then we found that if you put some of these fake decoy nests for wasps, and they're not very big. These, sorry about the glare. They're only about like that big, just about, the big height of my notebook here. And so they're just big enough and realistic enough to think that deter the wasp, but you have to get rid of the wasp nest that's already there before you put this up, so they won't build in those areas. So I bought this with 4, and we just haven't hung them up yet, mainly because it's been raining lately, so that's why. I do believe I did make a mistake on the 1907. That's actually a supplement, not the Frigidaire air freshener or air purifiers for the fridge. So that actually came out of here, and I've got 65.87. So because I made a note, right? So a note for myself right here. Then we ordered like this one big graduation frame. And it's perfect and everything. Problem is the inside size. My husband didn't calculate how big his bachelor's and his master's degree certificates were, and they're bigger than this. And so we're trying to find our son's high school diplomas. We thought we would put those in there. If not, I'm going to send it back because it's the wrong size, and we'll have to get different ones. But we'll see. But yeah, it was just a Father's Day gift, and this is where I thought, well, maybe I should have took it out of gifts and not miscellaneous. But between the two the refrigerator filters and the picture frame for the certificates, that was $65.87. So we'll figure out later if there's an adjustment. I'll make an adjustment later. And then Groove Life, again, I love this. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's pumpkin and poppy and pumpkin. And there's a farm in Tennessee, and I follow the owner of the farm on Instagram and Facebook, and I just love her little stories and stuff. And she has collaborated with Groove Life, which is a place where you can get silicone rings, wallets, belts, things like that. And I bought silicone rings from Groove Life before, and my husband got one that he really wanted, and then the other day he saw something else that he kind of would like to have, and it was like the great white shark or something he absolutely loves. And then I wanted the other one. She's got another 2 mini Highland cows, and that's what these are. Well, at least that one is. I'm not sure if that's, I think this one is too. But these little mini cows. And the other one's called Poppy and Petunia. So I ordered that, and then he ordered a ring for himself. Another kind of Father's Day gift thing for him. But both of us got a ring. It was $54.08. They were $25 each plus some tax. And I thought that was a really good deal. And then $2.74, Apple.com. That is where I purchased a couple of songs off of Apple to have in my playlist on my phone. I don't really pay for subscriptions. I just wire the songs that I purchase, and that's it. So, and then I use the free apps and things like that, like K-Love or Pandora or something like that if I want to listen to music. But that's where I get everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and total up miscellaneous and see what we did there. Okay, we spent $136.46. That's what we spent. So yeah, in fact, every category, my 4 main categories, I'm over budget in all of them. Copay I'm not, and unbudgeted I didn't do. So it's the only areas where I'm okay at. Now gas, I did not plan well for this. I knew I was picking up my father-in-law. It takes a quarter tank of gas to get there and back. And so I had to stop and get gas yesterday because we also went to, in addition to picking up my father-in-law, which is a 2-hour round trip, we went 45 minutes to an hour one direction and then back again. So yeah, it's a little bit of a drive. So we stopped and got gas again last night. I should be good. I know I have to do one more, use a quarter tank to get my father-in-law home and then back again. So, but I think for the rest of the time I'm not going anywhere, so it should even out by the end of the month. So I'm not too worried about it for the whole month, but I am concerned that we are over budget right now. But I have full tank of gas and I'm good to go. So we had here 78 or 72.89, and then we also had here 54.19. There we go. 72.89 and 54.19, and that gave us $127.08. Now copay, my son had an appointment last month and we got billed for it this month. It was $25. So I paid that. And again, unbudgeted, there were no yellows, so there is 0 for unbudgeted. And then we did have some bills. So I'm going to finish the weekly check-in, and then I'll go back and do the bills, check those off with the calendar in my bill section, or bill calendar in my book, and what I have to pay back to the credit card, because this all involves the money I put aside in my checking account for these categories. Let's see. Now that I have all that, let's go ahead and go to the weekly check-in over here. And we're going to put all the numbers down and write a lot of red ink, and I do apologize for that. So what we spent in grocery household was $493.67. As you can see, we're already over. Restaurants, $256.98. That's because we were visiting with family and have family in town, and we were going out to eat more. $136.46 for miscellaneous. $127.08 for gasoline, and $25 for copay, and 0 for unbudgeted because I have no money in the buffer of the checking account to use, so I'm not using it. It has to come out of spending categories. So that's what I have there. We're going to take that, find the balance. I'm going to go ahead and put check marks here. That for me in notes just means that I have paid the credit card. So a payment's already been made and the credit card's been taken back to 0 before I got on camera. And that's what that means right there. So now that I have all that, I don't need that piece of paper just yet. I want to go ahead and get this on here. And we're going to write the balances. So I need my other pen because I know most of it's in red. So the 400 minus the 493.67. It's easy math, but I'll just show you on the calculator. 93.67. 150 minus the 256.98, and we're over $100, $106.98. All right, and then over here I have $75, and I am subtracting the 136.46, and that was over budget by 61.46. And then I had $50 in gas, but we spent $127.08. Really should have thought that out better, but I didn't. And that was $77.08 because I knew it was coming. I knew it was. It just didn't click. And this is the only one that's not over budget because $25 was for copay, and I had $25 spent, and that's that. And here, 0 for unbudgeted. So that is where we are on all of that. Now these numbers I believe are the same every week for 4 weeks. Yes, they're the same for every week. So we're going to go ahead and keep the flow of what I originally planned for this month. But when next month comes, I think I'm going to write $1,600 minus what I spent, how much is left, and I can divide it by however many weeks are left, and then just move it forward and keep moving it and working it that way. So I know I have $400 I planned for every week minus the 93.67. Let's see if I cut back on my groceries or not this week coming up. 306.33. I'll keep that in mind, not to buy extra and frivolous things like that. Now restaurants, we have $150, and I'm already over budget by 106.98. There we go. That leaves us $43. We're going to be over budget on this for sure. I might have to figure out how to pay any overage on restaurants going into the next budget, weekly check-in, and I'll talk it over with my husband before then, but we'll see what happens. All right, miscellaneous, we have $75, and subtract 136.46. Let's see. Wait a minute. I don't know what I'm doing. I have $75 that I'm giving myself for miscellaneous, but I've already spent $61.46. Hopefully, I will not need any miscellaneous this week. And if I can just pay attention to that and go no miscellaneous this week, then I can get caught up for week 3, and it'll be fine. 54. Because essentially when I'm negative here, I'm borrowing or stealing money from the next week. So, this is a way of keeping it in balance. Gas. It's $50 a week that I'm putting to, and I've already spent I've overspent by $77.08, and I'm still negative by $27. Now, by the time I get to week 3, which is probably when I'll have to get gas again, I'll be in the positive for the budget, but then negative for the week, maybe. We'll see. 27.08, because I do have to take my father-in-law back on Monday. Let's see, copays is $25. I don't even need the calculator. I do need to learn to write though. There we go. $25. There we go. And 0 always for unbudgeted. So that is the weekly check-in. Not a lot of money to work with for the week. I have $306.33 plus the $43.02 and the $13.54 and the $25 minus the $27.08. There we go. So $360 for the week. That's definitely not going to be enough, so I'll probably over again. It's when we get to the end of the month, I'll have to make serious decisions on where the money's coming from for the budget for spending, and it'll have to come from savings. And I can do it. I don't want to, but I can do it. So I just really have to focus. It's really hard to budget for months that are really high spend and activities and stuff like that, because I've already purchased with my activities fund and my sinking funds, and I'll show you that really quick. Some tickets to an aquarium not too far from here. Actually, I didn't write it down yet. Uh-oh, I need to write that down. Let's see. Sinking funds. And I need to go here and look at my app. I love that we can do banking on our phones because it's so easy and quick to make sure we have what we need. So let's see here. Okay, so I do know I use the activity fund this month as well, and that is $149.12 for 4 adults to go to the Newport Aquarium in here in Kentucky. I think it's in Kentucky. It's right on the Ohio River, so that's where we're going to go. It's a couple hours from our house, so it's going to be a bit of a drive. So yeah, and I'll just show you this 370. Is that right? 375.19 minus or plus 50 and minus 149.12. So I have 276.07 left. Now I use a erasable pen, so if I use more, if I use this 200 to cover, like if we buy souvenirs, t-shirts, or food, I can add those numbers together and put it here. But for right now, I'm just going to leave the tickets. I've already bought the tickets and we're excited to go. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's see here. That's the sinking funds, and this is the spending calendar for the budget. So now I know what my budget is. I know what my weekly check-in numbers are saying. It says be careful. Sorry, I didn't even have it on screen right. You know, be careful your spending as you go through each week. And now we can go to June's budget here. Go ahead and fix my notebook. There we go. So let's see. Everything so far has come out. I'm still waiting. I mailed the check in for the water, but it still hasn't been cashed yet. It's already the 9th or 8th. So it takes a while for a check to get cashed. That's okay. I only have 2 bills. Or 1, 2, 3, 4 bills that haven't come out yet. So the rest of these have, and I will highlight the ones. I haven't been doing this. I normally highlight the bills that go onto the credit card. So let's go ahead and highlight those. I have God's Outreach here, which was $95.06. I have Amazon Music, which is $10.59. My husband uses that while he's driving around. A lot of the sites he sees is an hour or 2 away from the house. So yeah, and there's no radio signal. So he needs his music. All right, $6.99 for Paramount Plus. We're still watching on that. And then my NutriSense sensor came out to $65, and then $149.31, which was Spectrum. These were all bills that went to the credit card that I needed to pay back. And the total of all of these plus the bills gives me the total I have to pay back the credit card. So that is what we're doing here. And obviously I just went through all that. So let's go ahead and get that number here. Okay, so I have $526.95. That is what I spent in bills that went to the credit card, and that's what I owe the credit card for the bills. We're going to add the rest of these categories up. I'm just going to go backwards. $25 for copay, $127.08 for gasoline, $136.46 for miscellaneous, $256.98 for restaurants and $493.67 for grocery household. So I had to pay the credit card back, and this is the number I paid, $1,566.14. My average is usually $800 to $1,000 a week, but obviously this is a lot higher, and yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, so down here at the bottom, I was messing around with, okay, if I change how I do my weekly check-ins, this might be what it looks like. So if I decide to, let me get my notebook here. If I decide to do what I'm thinking, it'd still be a weekly check-in, but what I would be doing is I would put $1,600, which is what I planned for this month, and then I would subtract, there we go, $1,600 minus what was spent, $493.67, and that would give me $1,106.33 for the rest of the month. If I divide that by 3, because I still have 3 more weeks that I'm working with, that's $368.77 roughly that I would have per week. Now, do I have to stick with that? No. I just have to pay attention, okay, how close am I to that number? Just for grocery household, just for the one category. So if I do a little more in one week and less in the other week, then that might be doable for the rest of the month. And you would just do the same process all the way down. So let's do the math and see what that looks like. And it would be written out like this in the planner. So this is $368.77 or 78, round it up to 8, whatever you want to put, or round down so you don't have to worry about the pennies. So I've divided by 3, and that's, oh, that's not how I wrote this out. I skipped a step. Let's try this one more time. So 1,600 minus the 49367, and then divided by, and that's $1,106.33 divided by 3, and that gave us that 36877. I'll just leave it 77. There we go. Same thing for the rest of them. That's how it's going to look per week. All these going down here. So 600 minus the 256.98, and that gives us the 343.02 divided by 3 weeks left, because 1 week's already been spent, so you just do what's the weeks left, and then 114.34. And that's doable per week, except for my father-in-law's here, so it may not be doable for this week. So we'll be over budget for that. 300 minus 136.43 equals 163.57 divided by 3. And this is for miscellaneous, and that gives us $54.52 per week going forward. So if I do less in 1 week and more in another, it's going to be, or less in 1 week and normal in the other, then it should be fine. We'll have to wait and see. And then 200 minus the 127.08 I've already spent in gas, which only leaves $72.92. Divide by 3, which is not going to be enough, which is $24.06 per week. Yeah, we're going to go probably $50 to $70 over budget for gasoline. I really should have bumped that up, but if I did, I'd be in the red for my monthly budget. So yeah, this is one of those months I really have to pay attention and make decisions. 100 minus 25 is 175, not 175, but $75. Divided by 3, which is $25 a week, which is what I planned for the month anyway. Okay, so there is what I'm averaging per week, and I can actually total all those together. So There we go, 368. Geez, I can't type today. 77 plus the 114.34 plus the 54.52 plus the 24.06 and 25. So I'm averaging about $586 per week with all the categories combined. That's kind of low for us. So we'll see how we do. It is June, summer, and things are happening and hopping. So, you know, activities and just being out more, we tend to spend more and tend to want to spend more. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might have to dip into savings this month. So that is my budget. This is what I paid back the credit card. This is the weekly check-in. So, yep, I am done and done. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments about anything of what I'm doing or what I'm changing, please leave those in the comment section below. And I would love to hear how your budget's going and how your spending is going this month. Are you able to stay in budget, or did you just not pay attention that summer was coming and you were going to spend more like me? So I should know every June is a very spend month. My son is turning 20 years old and we're going to do all the things. So yeah, we're just spending a lot of money. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing, blessed day. Bye.
I never thought in the wildest dream I'd see you again. Never dreamed about now.